Shalom, shalom. The title of this lesson is Three Things You Must Learn When Coming Into This Truth. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power that always deserves it. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. A mighty shalom to the hopeful elect that are scattered four corners of the earth, teaching this word and believing in this word. Lord willing, as a whole, that you all continue in sound doctrine. Shalom to the Akwaf, the sister of this faith and this truth. Lord willing, that you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So 3 things you must learn when coming into this truth. I'm using these 3 because they're very important. The name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, obedience in the power that you serve, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, in the order, right? The order in the household, the order in existence, and the order in congregations, right? As in, when we first look at the order, it's Yahweh, Yahushai, man, woman, and child. When it comes in a congregation, you have the leaders, the head of the camp, either the founder, right? But you have elders, but then looking on my behalf, you got the elder apostles starting with Apostle Tahar on down, right? You got to deal with that order. Then when it comes in your household, the marriage, the husband is the head. Order, order, order. Okay? So Lord willing, we could dissect those things and speak on the foundation of knowing you can't grow without the name or obedience or order. You can't endure. You can't be delivered without these 3 things, even though it's other things. But these kind of hold, like you can get so many lessons into the name, obedience, and order, right? But we're going to stick to these 3 points, okay? So you must learn the name Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This is how, truly how you really get your foundation started with the name. But of course, through the Spirit, we're all drawn to this truth in different ways. Okay? But let's go to Joel chapter 2, verse 32. This is Joel chapter 2 and verse 32. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh, on the name of Yahweh, shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as Yahweh hath said, and in the remnant whom Yahweh shall call. Okay? Whom Yahweh shall call, that whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh shall be delivered. Now, I'm gonna keep going to a few more precepts, and then I'm gonna just go and get you the etymology or the interlinear of the name. And we're going to show you how, even in the blue letter, they're going to show you Jehovah, right? Which is really, in the English, is Jehovah. But you're going to fully understand that the Jehovah is an English rendering of YHWH, right? The Tetragrammaton. Salaki for pronouncing it incorrectly. But the correct Hebrew pronunciation is Yahweh. So let's go to Proverbs, the 18th chapter, and let's go to verse 10. This is what it reads. The name of Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. Right? The Lord and God are titles, not names. So us reading it, it says Lord, but Lord is a title. Just like you would say king, that is a title. But it just said the name of the Lord is a strong tower. Lord is not a name. That is a title. So we have to investigate why would it say the name of the Lord? Because you have to fully understand when you come in this truth, you were in a dead state. Now, this lesson is not about Revelation's 11th chapter. This is why you have to learn. We were in a dead state, and the name, our names was removed. You're not born, you're a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of, you're African American, you're a Puerto Rican. You're not known all of this. So somebody has to give you the sense. Somebody have to tell you why this is that. Why is the Son of the Most High named Jesus. Why did it get changed? When did the J's get created? 1524 AD. Then why is it this? The Lord wants us to search and seek for him, like as hidden treasure. And these things are only revealed to the prophets, and the prophets are going to be moved through the Ruach HaKodesh to find this information. You have to believe and get that. But it's okay. Let's get into it. Let's go to the book of Psalms, the 83rd chapter. And let's read verse 18. It says, that men may know that thou whose name alone is Jehovah art the Most High over all the earth. Again, Jehovah is an English rendering of YHWH, but the correct Hebrew pronunciation is Yahweh. So if we were just to go to this one, the interlinear for this verse, and we go to Jehovah, H3068, it's going to say Yahovah.
Strong's H3068, Yehovah.
Is Yahovah, because they're saying it in modern Hebrew. But if we was to look at, Salaki, I'm trying to, get it up here. So my screen is going to act a little goofy. Let's see if they're going to be nice. Okay, I won't be able to fully do it. So when you look at, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 4 symbols right here. Okay, 4 alphabets if we would be more correct. The first one looked like the opposite of a comma, but it would say Yah, Ha, Wa. In Hebrew, you read from the right to the left. So it would be Yah, Ha, Wa. Okay? So I'm going to try to do it slow. At the top, you got the ancient Hebrew, and at the bottom is the modern Hebrew. The ancient Hebrew is older than the modern Hebrew. But since the blue letter is going to give us the modern Hebrew, because of course, as a global or just out in the open, ancient Hebrew wasn't pushed in the modern world, but it was really all the Lord's doing, so the number one thing that always get pushed is this modern Hebrew, not ancient. So let's just use what we have, and it's all going to line up. You see the alphabets here, so we can't get nothing wrong here. So let's go back and look at this. So it's Jehovah. You see the first symbol. Let me just highlight it. Look on the right-hand side. The first symbol on the right-hand side is the little comma joint in the picture on the right-hand side. So when we go back, actually, that's why I love this phone. Let's do this. Okay, so it might be a little hard, but it's okay. We can always zoom in there. Oh, shoot. Oh, they just did me wrong. So you had the small symbol. There you go, right there. YA. It will really be Yah. It would be Yah. So then we go back. You got the N. So the N would be Ha. Then you got like the backwards 7. Wa. W-A. And then you got the N again. Ha. So let's say it all together. Yah. Ha. Wa. Ha. That's how it would be if you was to spell it Y-A-H-A-W-A-H. A because of the H, but it's spelled Y-A-H-A-W-A-H. Yahweh. You see me do it. Nice and slow. Lord willing, y'all got that. We're not going to hang too much time on it. So again, it is not Jehovah. Jehovah is the English, right? And if we was to put it, it would say Yahweh. And it sound the same. Jehovah, Yahweh. Only thing with the Jehovah, it got an E, it got a J, it got an O, it got a V, right? So it's really supposed to say Yahweh. Now, they got Jehovah meaning the existing one. When you go and use the actual Paleo Ancient Hebrew, Yahweh, Yah means he, right? So it's Yahweh. He exists. He to be, or he is. That's why in Exodus he say, I am. We can't say, I am. No, we say he is. You get it? Okay? So now, let's go to Matthew 1:21. Because since we was dealing with the Father, better yet, before we go into the Father, let's go to these quick points before we go to the Father. Go to the Son. This is Exodus chapter 23, verse 20. It says, behold, I send an angel, which angel can mean representative or messenger, before thee to keep thee in the way and to bring thee into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Now, if you went throughout the Bible, there's no angel that had the name of the Father in it, except for the Son. I'm going to say both of their names, but we got to get these points. What is it? I think it's St. John 5:43, if I'm not mistaken. St. John 5:43. We see in the Exodus, the angel, the Father's name was going to be in his. St. John 5:43, I am come in my Father's name, and ye receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him ye will receive. So this just showed that he said he comes in his Father's name. And I'm going to say it plain. Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. Plain as day. Okay? And I'm just showing in this picture the name. You see the name of the Father, Yahweh. And then even right here, you see Yahweh Shai. That right there is a beautiful, plain example showing verse 43. I come in my Father's name. Yahweh Shai. Ain't no Yahweh Shai without Yahweh in it. Woo. Come on, man. Call her Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So, when we look at this verse, let's get it real quick. Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. It says, and she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call his name Yahweh Shai, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now, this is really, right, his name is Yahweh Shai, but it's Jesus. In the King James 16:11, it would be Jesus. So this is, it would, this is the Greek and Latin transliteration, okay? But of course, in the actual King James 16:11, it would be Jesus, okay? The Hebrew name is Yahweh Shai, and his name means he saves, he delivers, he is salvation. Now we could do real quick, the same thing we did for Yahweh is going to be different for Yahweh Shai. Again, you have to investigate. Let's just prove in the Greek.
Strong's G 2424. Jesus. Jesus.
So it's Jesus. Now it's trying to show you the Hebrew origin for this word, which is going to, and it's saying Joshua right here. So say if we was to click Hebrew origin H3091 in the Strong's definition, let's click it. So it's going to say Yeshua, which is Joshua's name. But that is modern Hebrew. That is not the correct one. So say if we go back to where we was at. Okay. Let's go back to this word Jesus, and let's go down to a verse that has the same G24, 24. And that's really located in Salaki. Where are we at? Salaki. Salaki. Let me get this. I'm probably doing it the opposite way. So let's do this. Here we go. It's the Jeshua. And where are we at? Is it Numbers 13 and 6? And I'm gonna have it right here. Pop it up in the screen. Numbers 13 and 16. These are the names of the men which Moses sent to spy out the land. And Moses called Hoshea, the son of Nun, Jeshua. Now, in the NLT is going to say Joshua, okay? But they're putting modern Hebrew, but this is not modern Hebrew. And especially in the time where Moses was, walking with Israel in the wilderness, they were speaking the ancient tongue, not modern Hebrew. So his name would be the same as the Son of the Most High, Yahweh Shai. This is why it's saying this is the origin of the name. That shows that the name Jesus is not his name because it's a real origin of his real name. So let's click this the same way we did with Matthew 1 and 21. So let's look up the name Jeshua, H3091. Now, it's a point I want to show you guys. It's a super point I want to show you. Because this up here is incorrect. Okay? That is incorrect. So I'm about to show something. So I'm going to click where it says HNP under H3091. Because when you look all the way to the left, let me see if I can highlight it for you guys. Now, right here, this would be the original name. What I just clicked. Okay? So you look all the way to the left, you got the modern Hebrew, and then it says Yeshua. The one above it is the incorrect way, which is just saying Yeshua. But above is actually saying the original name. So let's click HNP. HNP is saying inflected, and this is the root of the word underneath. When you go down to NP, it's saying right here in this word type, proper name. So this is the proper name that we see right here, and it's up here, the proper name. So the same thing I did with Yahweh, Lord willing, if the screen doesn't, remove itself, I am going to do the same thing with the alphabet, and we're going to see this name in Hebrew. So we remember in Hebrew, you start from the right to the left. So let's get it. The first symbol is Yah, the same as Yah, what we did with Yahweh. Yah, Y-A, Yah. The next one is the N, Ha, H-A. The next one is the backward 7, Wa, W-A. The next one is the W looking like symbol, and that's Shah. And then you got the Y looking symbol, which would be I. So let's put it all together. Ya, Ha, Wa, Shai. Okay? So when you look at this alphabet, you get the Y-A, H-A, W-A, S-H, and put the I. It's going to say Yahweh Shai. So let me get the image back on. Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai. And then it even shows the Syrian Ezra script, and they show you just in the same symbol. If you was paying attention earlier when we did Yahweh, these are the same symbols right here. Right? Yah, Ha, Wa. And then they got the alphabet right underneath. Plain as day. Okay? And then on the right at the top, you see the actual Paleo Hebrew symbols. Yah, Ha, Wa. Plain as day. No need to argue. We got it. Now, when we look at all of this, that is a mystery. You see how we had to do all of that just to figure out the name? This shows everybody won't be able to get that name, right? Because you have to put work in, okay? So now, let's go to the book of Acts, the 4th chapter, a very important verse. Acts 4:12. Neither is there salvation in any other, for there is none other name under heaven given among men whereby we must be saved. So it's no name under heaven where we can be saved. So now with this verse, we got to think like, okay, what name is that? If James was created until the 1520s, then what was his name? If we know when he was on the cross, they wrote in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. But we would have to investigate. Did the Israelites not know their language? So was they speaking modern? No, that would kind of be incorrect, because you had Israelites that were still speaking the Hebrew dialect, even in the Greek captivity and even in the New Testament, because Paul wasn't speaking modern Hebrew when he was speaking to Israelites, I believe, in Acts the 21st chapter. He spoke in Hebrew, just like Yahushua spoke to Paul in Paleo Hebrew when he blinded him. He spoke in Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew. Okay, so on the cross, it had his name in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. Ancient Hebrew, because that was the tongue of the Hebrew Israelites. In the Greek was the known popular language, founded and pushed in the Greek captivity. In the Latin language or tongue was what the Romans spoke. That should be plain for us. So what is the name of Yahushua? Since Hebrew was first on the cross, it would be Yahushua. The attribute of what he's going to do. He's going to save, deliver. Okay? So why the name is restored now? Let's go to Zephaniah, the 3rd chapter, and I'll read verse 9. It says, "For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent." Okay? So the Lord is going to turn the people to a pure language that they may call upon Yahweh, call upon the Lord. So it's not a demand that you have to know everything in Hebrew, because again, we're feeding the sheep that's in a dead estate that don't know this. So the Lord is gonna speak to Jake in a stammering tongue, right? They're gonna get this understanding in a bastard language, which is English. But again, they're gonna be told the name of the Father through that pure language. That's the key of all of this. Oh, I have to master knowing how to say the and in the Hebrew. If you do that, hey, more power to you. But the number one thing is the name of the Father, the high tower, or is all the words in Hebrew a high tower? No, the name of the Father is the high tower. So it's very important that you speak that pure language of the name of the Father. Because when you go to Sirach, the prologues, it tell you things written or spoken in their original language, right, are going to have a strong difference than those spoken in a different language. Okay? Plain. So in the end times, the true names are being restored through the elect. And the elect in the Greek is ekletos, the best of his kind, the best of his class. So only the best of the best is going to get the chance to fully have the name of the Lord and be confident in it. So now let's go to the next point. I dissected, I believe, to that ability for you guys to slow the video down, rewatch it, and see how you could use the blue letter to see the name of the Father. Go get the alphabets too. So now you must learn obedience. Faith without obedience is dead. Coming into this truth is not just learning history, right? Prophecies, parables, dark sayings, right? It's changing how you live and how you think. So now let's go to Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter, and let's go to verse 13. It says, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, the whole conclusion out of the whole Bible, each point. Fear the Most High, keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. That one verse itself right there shall put, you know what, I got to be obedient. I got to hear the whole conclusion of the matter. I have to fear Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. I have to keep his commandments. Commandments go into commands. This is a requirement because this is the whole duty of man. Yahushai, he kept the law. Let's go to Matthew, the 5th chapter, verse 17. And he naturally did it. It says, think not that I come to destroy the law for the prophets. The prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. He was fully fulfilling the sacrifice law. That was the embodiment, because when you committed a sin, or even for the propitiation, the atonement, you made a sacrifice. That was the gesture. When you sinned, we were doing sacrifices. So he fulfilled the whole thing by the sacrifice. Right? You don't know, where is the verse where he fulfilled not eating pork? He naturally did it. He fulfilled what he came to do as being a sacrifice. He said, but to fulfill. He fulfilled it at the cross. But let me not take you somewhere else. I know it's getting spicy. This is St. John, the 14th chapter, verse 15. If ye love me, keep my commandments. The word commandments go into commands. What Yahushua commanded us to do, which is commandments, is what the Father commands us. Because Yahushua said he didn't come with his own doctrine. This is not my own doctrine. This is the doctrine of Yahweh who sent me, my Father who sent me. So everything Yahweh was giving us was a command from the Father. So you cannot claim Yahushua and reject obedience. He is the example. He is the embodiment of it. Obedience is better than sacrifice. Something quoted to Saul in the Old Testament. Let's go to 1 Samuel, the 15th chapter. And there's so many points we can get, but let's just stay on point. Let's start at verse 20. 1 Samuel 15, verse 20. And Saul said unto Samuel, yeah, I have obeyed the voice of Yahweh and have gone the way which Yahweh sent me, and have brought Agag, the king of Amalek, and have utterly destroyed the Amalekites. But the people took of the spoil sheep and oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice unto Yahweh thy power in Gilgal. And Samuel said, have Yahweh as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahweh? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. Obedience is more important. Obedience is important. When you see the NLT at the bottom, it says submission is better than offering the fat of rams. When you are obedient, you are in submission. It's plain. Knowledge without obedience is pride. Truth without works is condemnation. Saul was prideful. A lot of us think that we could just do this on our own. You can't. You had to be created. It's amazing. There's no way around it. Okay? This truth is a humbling lesson for all of us. James chapter 2, verse 17. Even so, faith, if it have not works, it is dead, being alone. The works, when you see this verse, is not only the law. What else is work? Obedience, humility, right? Your actions of doing the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? Work, hey, you a teacher. That's part of the work too. Some people, the work, the law is way more than that. It's way more than that, brother. You cannot claim Yahweh Shai and reject obedience. Plain as day. So correction comes with the truth. Okay? Let's get Hebrews, the 12th chapter, verse 6. For whom Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai loveth, he chasteneth, and scourges every son whom he receiveth. Okay? He chastises, he corrects those he loves. So obedience requires humility, repentance, and discipline. That's the only way we can change. That's the only way we could be a doer. When you get in a whooping, now it's the man, I gotta be listen, I gotta be obedient, I gotta be lowly, you know what I'm saying? That's the whole point. That was the whole point, even when you would judge somebody for committing adultery, they get stoned, the rest that see it, they would see that discipline and be like, oh shoot, now they got the fear of the Lord. Now don't do it, because if you do it, this is going to happen to you. But us, the Lord knew Jake was going to keep going off. That's why he set up Yahweh Shai. These are learning lessons. So now let's get into the point of you must learn order. Yahweh is a power of order, not confusion. So let's go to 1 Corinthians, the 14th chapter, and let's drop down to verse 40. It says, let all things be done decently and in order. In the NLT, but be sure that everything is done properly and in order. Okay? Remember this, brothers and sisters, in your house and in this ministry, things should be done properly and in order. If you can't get this right, then you don't know what you signed up for. And every day, the inward man is supposed to be renewed. Okay? This truth is instructed, not emotional or chaotic. We have emotional attributes, but we're supposed to know what we're using them for. Like men can be emotional, right? Just like when somebody getting plagued and a brother like, oh man, hey babe, nah man, that's from the Lord. That's still an emotion. Emotion is a feeling, which cause an action. Oh hey yo, love is okay. You know we got a thorn on the side. That's emotion, right? Okay. Hey, you okay? That's the emotion, right? When somebody giving you that raw love, or give you the counsel Yahweh Shema Shai for good and bad moments, that's still emotions catered to somebody's feelings at that moment right there. Okay? This truth is about order and decency. Order and authority. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. It says, but I will have you know that the head of every man is a Mashiach, and the head of woman is the man, and the head of a Mashiach is the Most High. Let's go to Ephesians 4 and 11. That was plain. No man, no woman should really be arguing with that. Ephesians 4 and 11. For he gave some apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, and some pastors and teachers. These are gifts. The apostles is the head of the foundation, right? Which apostle means sent out. So you got to even understand on this side who is set up in this order. Now, everybody might not cleave to the apostles and the men of great millstone. Guess what? Hey, I can care less if you don't. You know, this is for the diligent and those that want sound doctrine, 100% truth. Okay. When it comes to you following these men's teachings and words that they're bringing through the Rakak Wadash, they deal with order. Now, this is not about praising no man. We can't praise no man on this side, but you have to know that the Lord gave us gifts. And the gifts is the apostles, the prophets, and evangelists. And if you can't notice who your teacher is, it's going to be hard for you to grow in that order, in that obedience, or fear the name of the Lord. And everybody is moved differently. Lord willing, you're praying and asking the Lord to move you to the correct direction. Okay. So you must learn there are ranks, there are teachers, and everyone is not a leader. Everyone is not a leader. You know, everybody wasn't set up with that ability. And some brothers is okay with that because the Lord set everybody up for their lot. Okay? So, order in conduct. Let's get Sirach. Order goes in, man, there's so many precepts we can go to, but this is Sirach 4:28. Strive for the truth until death, and Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shai shall fight for thee. Right? You have to strive in this thing. And that's really a requirement in this thing. Strive until death. None of us should be fearful of death on this side. When you go into scriptures in the ancient world, they actually praise their death. It's just on this side, you haven't had this truth for so long. Jake don't know where the hell they go for being good or bad. Until Yahweh Shai come, you don't know if you're the elect or not. But if you go in the spirit world, you don't know what the Lord is going to have be revealed unto you. But you're at rest until you're sent back down again. Okay? So strive for the truth until death. That means in the name, in obedience, and in order. Let's go to Sirach 32. Sirach 32, verse 17. A sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will. So you must know when to speak. Reprove means to basically be corrected, reproved, right? When to listen and when to be silent. You got to know. This is why, like I say at the bottom, correction. A sinful man will not be reproved. And only a man of the Lord is going to be corrected. We're all sinful. But a man, a sinful man, a man that's of this world that can't be changed, guess what? He didn't have that program to change. He didn't have that program to connect to correction. Okay? So order prepares you for the kingdom. It does. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, the 6th chapter, in verse 4. It says, because being ministers of his kingdom, ye have not judged right, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of the Most High. Right? Now, this is not the actual one I want. It's not the actual one I want. But I still like how it went, because it said, because being ministers of the kingdom, ye have not judged aright, righteous, nor kept the law, nor walked after the counsel of the Most High. Again, order prepares you for the kingdom. If you are in disorder, you're not being prepared for the kingdom. You're not. Okay? You're not. Let me read verse 3. It says, for power is given you of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the servantee from the highest, who shall try your works and search out your counsels. And our counsels have to go back to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Right? Because ye have not walked after the counsel of the Most High. Right? When you see verse 4, nor walked after the counsel of the Most High. This is somebody that is in disorder, out of order, out of box, out of wax. Order is what prepares us for the kingdom. Wait, let me stay in this chapter. Where is it at? Dang, it's so many. Let me read verse 11. It says, wherefore set your affections upon my words, desire them, and ye shall be instructed. This is, you take this is giving you order, because you're going to be well instructed on what to do, what not to do. Right? I'll keep reading. Wisdom is glorious and never fades away. Yes, she is easily seen of them that love her with an action, in truth, and found of such as seek her. She prevents them that desires her, in making herself first known unto them. Whoso seeks her early shall have no great travail, for he shall find her sitting at his doors. Really your mind, right? Because we know the Lord in Revelations 3:20, he's knocking at the door, your mind. It says, to think therefore upon her is perfection of wisdom, and whoso watches for her shall quickly be without care. For she goes about seeking such as are worthy of her, shows herself favorably unto them in the ways, and meet them in every thought. For the very true beginning of her is the desire of discipline, and the cares of discipline is love. Okay? And when you go to verse 20, and I'm gonna end in this chapter with this one. It says, therefore the desire of wisdom bringeth to the kingdom. And order prepares you for the kingdom. And with that order, you're going to be builded with wisdom, and wisdom, if you desire it, is going to bring you to the kingdom. Verse 25, receive therefore instructions through my words, and it shall do you good. Because the words of Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai should be our counsel. Okay? The kingdom is governmental. Only those trained in order will rule. And just because of that, let me just show, because really for the 144,000, yeah, man, Yahweh really set it up for us. Where is that? Where is the verse that we need? Is it verse 11? Hold on, let me see. It's Isaiah 9 and verse 7, but I'm going to start at 6. It says, for unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder, and his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the increase of his government and peace there shall be no end, upon the throne of David, upon his kingdom, to order it and to establish it with judgment, with justice from henceforth, even forever. The zeal of Yahweh of hosts will perform this. So again, the kingdom is governmental. Only those trained in order will rule. And ruling start with Yahweh Shai, David, the 12, and the rest of the 144,000, and all Israel as a whole. But the government body is the 144,000. But I want to look up this word government. So Google AI overview, governmental. An adjective meaning related to or concerning government, its structure, function, or officials. Woo! Come on, man. Structure, function, and officials. Let's look at officials. Political is the term for matters relating to or concerning the government, its structures, function, or officials. It describes the processes, policies, and actions of a state or organized entity. Wow. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. I don't want to draw y'all too much with too much information. So the kingdom is governmental. Only those trained in order will rule, which is the elect on this side. So these three build a true servant. The name, who you call on, Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, obedience, how you live in Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai and through him, in the order, how you function, in Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai, how you function in his ministry, how you function in his ways. This is Revelations 14 and 12. It says, here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of the Most High in the faith of Yahweh Shai. Again, keeping the Most High commandments is you keeping his commands, right? And this is throughout the Bible, right? Of course, we go back to the law, the first 5 books of the Bible, but you have requirements and commands throughout the Bible, and you fully get distinct information on how to move, especially if we was to look at you, a man of the Lord being a teacher, a leader in his household, or being the head in all those things. It's commands on how you're supposed to move, what you're supposed to abstain from, what you're supposed to remove yourself from. Okay, this thing is ordered to the T. So coming into this truth is not about being deep, being seen, or being first, because everything I just said is not It might seem deep, but it's not, because what I can do, you could do. It just, are you sincere with your time? Do you really want it? Okay? It's about honoring the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and walking in obedience and submitting to order. Now, Lord willing, this was edifying to those that truly believe and those that's coming in his faith. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the one true power that always makes it possible day in and day out. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit that are scattered four corners of the earth. Lord willing, as a whole, that you all continue in sound doctrine. Shalom to the Akwaf, the sisters of this faith and this truth. Lord willing, that you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And again, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. With that, shalom, shalom.